All right, Kyle, well, first of all, before you start telling me everything that happened tonight, have you ever seen a council meeting this crowded?
This was one of our most well-attended meetings. I've been on 5 years, and I think this is probably the most I've seen in the crowd, which is always good to get civic engagement.
I was going to ask you, what would happen if you had this many people showing up for every meeting that were interested in what was going on?
I think it'd be great for the community. I really do. I think that the more public feedback you get, the more response you get, the more you can hear from people, probably the better decisions you can make.
Well, just tell me what happened tonight. What did people miss?
Tonight was the first meeting in June. We had just a few items on the agenda, but the time, it did run a little bit later than usual. We've been here a little over 2 hours today, which again is great. The first thing we did was we rezoned a property at 312 Sayre Street from light industrial to general commercial. That's just the old McLeese garage property. It just gives them a little bit greater flexibility. That's something we discussed at our last meeting, and it was able to kind of move quickly. And then we moved into really what was the heart of today's meeting, which was the discussion regarding a 50-acre proposed development off of Midway Road. We had a lot of public feedback from it, as you can imagine. We heard from a lot of concerned citizens who live in the county who obviously want to kind of protect the way of life, but they know that obviously development is coming. Anderson County's growing. The county's done a great job at attracting industry. The city's done a great job at making it a very livable place. And so, but obviously, you know, sometimes those things run ahead of each other and kind of butt heads sometimes. So we had a long discussion with that, had a lot of input from property owners in the region, but at the end of the day, the discussion was tabled. But it is something obviously we'll hear about a lot and talk about a lot over the next few weeks, next few months possibly.
And cities can only grow by annexing, really.
Yes. We're really kind of restricted, and as everyone probably knows, Anderson City has grown and we have annexed, and there is growth coming, and there still is a lot of undeveloped land that people want to, as you can imagine, build homes on. As you know, there's a housing shortage, not just in Anderson County or the state of South Carolina, but across the nation. So we're going to see more and more of this. But you want to have growth, you want to have smart growth. And so that's something that we stress at the city, and I know the county does as well. After that, we moved into new business. We adopted our budget. Our budget this year is a little over $83 million, and that includes no tax increase. The city actually has not raised taxes in several years. It's great you're able to kind of expand services based on the increased collections. The value of a meal kind of keeps increasing. You know, we were in a strong budget position. We did a great job going through the pandemic. We anticipated a lot greater cut, which you always want to budget conservatively, and we've come out looking actually pretty strong, particularly compared to peer cities. So we approved that budget, again, a little over $83 million, which, you know, the vast majority go towards paying people to do jobs in the city. You know, public safety obviously is one of the first things you think about, and sanitation, all those things that you see people doing each and every day. After that, we went and we approved the issuance of a special obligation bond. We want to take advantage of low interest rates, and that kind of segued into the other agenda item, which is phase 3 of our recreation complex, to where we're going to use that general obligation bond to fund projects such as concession stands, bleachers, and synthetic turf fields. As you know, the recreation complex gets a lot of use from the citizens of our community, and it's a great investment for our community, and we're just going to keep growing, keep building, and now we're going to have the option to, once all this is completed, to host more tournaments and bring in additional revenue to the city. So it's almost kind of piggybacks one on top of each other. Use hospitality funds to build it, but it brings in more hospitality funds.
Have they thought about adding another building or expanding the current building so it's so crowded?
I know staff's always looking at, you know, what's the best way to allocate those funds. I know right now the big focus is on the fields, but I know that's always kind of a moving target as well, depending on what your needs are at any given time. Then the last thing we did was we executed a lease purchase agreement to buy some vehicles, 4 garbage trucks, 1 bucket truck, 1 flatbed truck, 1 trailer, and 1 tractor loader. Obviously, a lot of that's going towards our sanitation department, who does a great job each and every day. They're extremely responsive, and they cover a lot of ground each and every day. And when you think of city government, that's obviously one of the main things you think of. You know, you think of fire, you think of police, and you think of sanitation, and they do a great job, as do all of our city employees. And, you know, we're excited to give them new equipment because they definitely deserve it. They put it to good use, that's for sure.
And when's the next city council meeting?
Next meeting will be 2 weeks from today, so come join us on the 28th.